Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something that I think we all face at some point in our lives. It's a struggle that can hit us when we least expect it. A feeling that can creep in and try to steal our joy and our hope. I'm talking about doubt. Specifically, I want to unpack this powerful idea. Do you undoubt in the dark what God showed you in the light? Have you ever been there? You've had this moment of incredible clarity. This aha moment where you just knew what you were supposed to do. Maybe it was a career path, a relationship decision, a ministry idea, or a personal goal. You felt God's peace, a surge of excitement, and a clear sense of direction. The path forward seemed bright and obvious. You were on fire, ready to take on the world. That's the light. But then, life happens. The initial excitement fades. Obstacles appear. People question your decision. You face a setback, a delay, or just the long, hard grind of daily effort. And slowly, the darkness starts to creep in. The clarity you once had gets foggy. The confidence you felt is replaced by a whisper of doubt. Was I really supposed to do this? Did I hear God correctly? Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I was just being naive. It's in these moments of darkness that our faith is truly tested. The dark is where our vision gets blurry and our feelings take over. It's where fear and anxiety love to hang out. Think about the story of Peter walking on water. When Jesus called him out of the boat, Peter stepped out in faith. His eyes were fixed on Jesus, the light. But what happened next? The Bible says he saw the wind and the waves. He took his eyes off Jesus and focused on the storm around him, the darkness. And what happened? He began to sink. He started to doubt in the dark what he knew to be true in the light just moments before. This happens to us all the time. We receive a promise, a vision, a calling from God. We start walking on water, so to speak. But then we see the wind and the waves of our own lives, the financial struggles, the health issues, the relational conflicts, the sheer exhaustion. We start focusing on the storm instead of the one who called us into it, and we begin to sink into doubt and fear. So, what do we do when we find ourselves in the dark? How do we hold on to what God showed us in the light? The first thing is to remember. We need to intentionally recall those moments of clarity. Get out a journal and write down what God showed you. What promises did he give you? What scriptures came to mind? What did you feel in that moment of light? Document it. Make a record of God's faithfulness, so when the darkness comes, you have a written testimony to look back on. You can literally read it and say, "No, this is what God said. This is what I know to be true, even if I can't feel it right now." I call this building an altar of remembrance. It was so that when their children asked, "What do these stones mean?" they could retell the story of God's power and faithfulness. These are our personal monuments to what God has done and what he has promised. The second thing is to anchor yourself in truth, not in feelings. Feelings are fickle. They change with the weather, with how much sleep you got, with what someone said to you. The darkness is a breeding ground for negative feelings, but God's truth is an unshakable anchor. The promises in his word are true whether you feel them or not. When you're in the dark, you have to preach the truth to yourself. Say it out loud. God is with me. He will never leave me, nor forsake me. He who began a good work in me will be faithful to complete it. His plans for me are for good and not for disaster. The more you speak God's truth over your situation, the smaller the lies of the enemy become. Third, stay connected to community. When you're in a dark place, the temptation is to isolate yourself. You feel like no one understands, or you're ashamed of your doubt. This is exactly what the enemy wants. He wants to get you alone so he can feed you more lies. the ones who can pray for you when you don't have the strength to pray for yourself. Let others be a source of light for you when your own feels dim. They can hold up your arms, just like Aaron and Hur did for Moses, until the battle is won. Let me give you a practical example from my own life. There was a time I felt a clear calling to start this very YouTube channel. In the beginning, I was so excited. I had a vision, ideas were flowing, and I felt God's confirmation. That was the light. But after a few months, the growth was slow. I'd spend hours on a video, and only a handful of people would watch it. Negative comments would pop up. I started getting tired, and the doubts flooded in. Is this really making a difference? Am I just wasting my time? Maybe I wasn't meant to do this. That was the darkness. During that time, I had to fight. I went back to my journal and reread the entries from when I first started, the scriptures God gave me. I reminded myself of the why behind it all. I talked to my spouse and a couple of close friends who spoke life back into me. They reminded me of the vision God had given me. I had to choose to trust God's initial instruction over my current feelings of discouragement. I had to decide that what He showed me in the light was more real than the shadows I was seeing in the dark. And I'm so glad I did, because if I had given up then, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. Your darkness might be a season of waiting, a season of trial, or simply a season of silence, where it feels like God is distant. But let me encourage you, seasons change. The night doesn't last forever. The dawn will come. Your job in the dark is not to find a new path, but to hold on to the one God already illuminated for you. It's about endurance. It's about faithfulness. It is about trusting that the God who spoke to you in the light is the same God who is with you in the dark. Even when you can't see or feel Him, the promise you received is still valid. The calling on your life is still active. The dream He placed in your heart is still alive. Don't let a temporary season of darkness cause you to abandon a permanent promise from God. Hold on. Keep taking the next small step of obedience. Remember what He said. Anchor yourself in His truth. Lean on your community. Before you know it, the light will begin to break through the clouds again, and you'll see that He was with you all along, guiding you, strengthening you, and proving Himself faithful once again. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Remember, hold on to the light. I'll see you in the next video.